What's up, guys? It's Will the Truth. We got an exclusive interview today. Brandon Joseph, Lowkey Beats. We're going to be talking about his beats and how he lost all this weight in 2019. Let's go. Obviously, anyone who knows you've lost a tremendous amount of weight. How did you do it, and how much have you actually lost?
Oh man, 2019 was an incredible year. Had a lot of great things happen there in 2019, and yeah, the weight loss has really just become a part of my lifestyle now. I'm living more like a bodybuilder these days than I am like a producer, with the meal preps, gym sessions, things like that. How I did it really was, it's literally pretty simple. I just ate less calories than I burned and paid attention to some of the things that I was eating, and I exercised at the gym, and the weight just honestly, it just peeled off, and I just substituted soda for water. That's my secret for the weight loss.
That's crazy. I feel like it happens super fast.
Yeah, it definitely happens quick when you start eating the right things, and you're within that caloric deficit, meaning that that you are eating less calories than you're burning. That's when the weight really just starts to fly off.
All right, so we got to know, how much have you actually lost?
Right now it's just over 100 pounds. I have about, I would say I'm going to lose about another 20 pounds to go that I'm cutting. I'm actually doing both a regimen of weight resistance training with lifting weights and a cardio. So cutting, I'm losing a little bit more weight just to be a little bit more be defined for that weightlifting aspect.
That's insane, dude. 100 pounds?
Yes, 100 pounds. Feels good. I've honestly never felt better. I'm in the best shape of my life. Probably haven't been at that type of weight since about high school. So it feels good to be back in shape and back feeling good again. Be around to keep bringing you guys these beats.
How did you get the name Lowkey Beats? Was there a name before that maybe didn't work out well?
Yeah, actually, there was a couple of different names. The first ever name that I started out with was Nightmare Beats, Nightmare Entertainment, actually, with a group of friends. This was back when we were kids. That actually didn't make it past the ground level, but that was what we first started doing when I first started with the beats and stuff. And then while that was going on, I was also going by Brandon Joseph, which is my name for my DJing and things like that when I was a full-time DJ. And then things rolled into Lowkey. That was kind of just a nickname, a family nickname, and it kind of just stuck. And it was like Lowkey B, but I dropped the B, B for Brandon, but I dropped the B and just became Lowkey Beats. And ever since then, it's been Lowkey Beats. Nightmare beats, because the beats that I was making, they were like real dark and real aggressive. They were like Halloween beats almost. Like when you're first starting to make beats, you just want everything to be hard. You want things to be sounding, tough. And so it was like nightmare. Like you'll hear these beats in your nightmares. So that's kind of just where the name evolved and stemmed from. Social media, you can find me on all the platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and that's going to be at Lowkey Beats Official. On my website as well, LOWKEYBEATS.com. You can head straight there, and all the social media will be there as well.
How many beats do you have on your website right now?
As of right now, I did a little cleaning up for 2020. We're sitting at about 50 beats there on the website. From 300 beats, I retired some beats from 2019, and so starting fresh. So we don't keep that old stuff on, and we get new beats going up there weekly, dropping 1 to 3 new beats every week here in 2020, so be on the lookout for that.
Dang, 50? That's crazy, because I remember when I used to go on there, it'd be like hundreds, and I get so frustrated
yeah,
trying to find
and
something.
that's one reason why we went ahead and got the new beats up there, took some of the old ones down, because it just makes the decision-making process a little bit easier, because as an artist, they want to just jump on there, find a beat quickly. They don't want to have to be overwhelmed by 400 or 500 beats to go through. That's something that if they want to do a deeper listening, you can contact me, and I definitely have lists and catalogs of beats that you can listen through. So
I remember when you came out with the little tag with the tab on the side with the genres. So that was crazy because you got trap beats are different from rap beats, hip hop. I mean, they all got their own thing.
Absolutely.
And I remember when you did that, I was like, Jesus Christ, man, this is so much better. It's
Yes.
so hard to go through 300 fucking beats.
Yes, and it's it's even better now. I'm gonna be organizing things by beats per minute here. If you're interested in chopping by beats by how the pace of the beat is, I'm gonna be having that as well, and also mood of the beat will be programmed in there as well. So be on the lookout for that. As far as deals and sales go on my website, if you want to know more about that, you can join my mailing list, VIP mailing list on LowkeyBeats.com. Enter in your email, and you'll always be up to date about when those sales are dropping. I generally drop at least 4 sales a year, one every quarter. I generally try to do it around the holidays and around the major events just to kind of piggyback off those ideas. Right now, I have $49 full profit unlimited licenses going on until January 19th. They're up on LowkeyBeats.com. And usual prices are $99 for the unlimited full profit license, and exclusives anywhere from $300 up to $1,000. Generally speaking, $300 to $500 for exclusive. And I also do custom beats as well in that range.
I know that's pretty new too. That wasn't always like that. They were a little bit higher than that. But I know you always preach about it and telling people that you want to give everybody access to beats and be able to make the bread back.
Absolutely.
I know as an artist, it's hard paying, these big prices, or not necessarily big, but when you got recording, when you're paying for recording, studio time, all that stuff, it's just another thing that kind of like a weight lifted off your shoulder when you can get full price or full profit beats for, next to nothing, it seems like now.
Absolutely. You have, as a producer, I listen to what the artists need. A lot of times, a lot of producers out here are just listening to what they want. Obviously, as producers, we all want to get paid top dollars for our beats, but we have to be there for the up-and-coming artists that are just trying to make a way and make a lane. So that pricing point kind of came wanting to cater to all artists and get a chance to make some money back too, and eat off of their music. There's so many different people out here that are digging into the artist's pockets, and I don't want to be one of those people that are further doing that. Sure, I charge my fee for the beats, but I want you to be able to have a chance to make some money as well. So that's kind of where that idea was born here, to offer the unlimited full profit license and allow artists to keep 100% of their sales and royalties using the beats.
I want to kind of dig a little bit deeper, man. So what made you want to start producing? I know you were a DJ before, but what made you actually want to be a producer?
I think that stemmed from just a young age. I've always loved music. I've always been in a musical household. Both my mom and my dad always loved music. I grew up listening to music in my household. And, as a small child, I remember being at my grandmother's house, and one of my favorite things to do was pull out the pots and pans from the cabinets and set up myself almost a makeshift drum set and make noise. As a child, I always loved to make noise and always loved to make. I was always doing little beatboxes and things like that, and playing with Casio keyboards. And on those Casio keyboards, they had programmable drums, and I would just play the keys to those. So it was kind of just like a natural thing. Evolved into me DJing, and then I'm like, well, I'm playing these people's records, I wonder if I can make my own. And that's kind of where this whole producer thing was born from there. Naturally starting at a young age, evolving into me thinking, wow, I can actually make my own stuff here.
So how long have you been a full-time producer?
Full-time producer, going on 3 years. Man, before producing, what didn't I do as far as work goes? Before producing, I was a construction worker, concrete construction worker. More specifically, some of the jobs that I did was traffic control, traffic safety, setting up barricades, setting up safety for job sites. Also did concrete saw cutting, general labor work, things like that. Did that for a lot of years. Also worked in warehouses. Also worked for some 2 animal shelters, which that was one of my favorite, most rewarding jobs that I've ever had outside of producing, was working for those animal shelters.
That's crazy, you were a blue-collar worker, man.
Absolutely.
You weren't just working in the office and decided,
no.
Fuck this ain't the life for me.
No, I always knew while I was out there, there was days where, as a construction worker, I'm out there in the hot sun, and I'm thinking to myself, when I get off of work, I'm going to go to my studio that I was renting at the time. I'm going to go and work and make beats, and so that one day I don't have to be out there burning up in that sun. So yeah, I was definitely a blue-collar worker, but at night I was figuring out how to get the white-collar money off the laptop. So that was really what I was working on, my master plan, while I was doing the blue collar stuff during the day. So yeah, absolutely.
How did you learn how to make beats? Did anyone have a big part in helping you learn, either with just using the software or just making beats in general?
Well, I think, it just came naturally to me because, like I said earlier, I was playing with keyboards and things like that naturally, and kind of had a few friends set my laptop up with the things that I needed, just a few basic things, FL Studio to be specific, plug that in the computer, and since then it's just been a matter of figuring it out from there, making those first set of horrible beats, terrible beats, and you're just, in your mind, you're just getting started and you're thinking that this is the most awesome beat ever. But I listen back to those beats now and just laugh. But really, it was just a matter of figuring out the program on my own. I'd say the biggest challenge for me when I was learning to make beats was actually learning how to structure the beats. Okay, like when I was first starting to make beats, the beats that I was making, they had no structure. It was like, okay, the bass would come in here, the keys would come in here, and I really just had to figure out, okay, where is this verse? Where is this hook? When does the artist do this? When does the artist do that? And as soon as I figured out structure, I feel like I started to actually make beats that were worth artist time, and it actually became instrumentals and not just practice.
How long did it take for you to start gaining traction once you took producing serious?
I would say it honestly took 10 years to gain that traction. Working at it every day, not even skipping a day, working at it every day for 10 years to get it to that point. I've been full-time with it for 3 years. But every day, even now while I'm full-time, every day I'm constantly improving my skills, constantly learning new things, constantly proving myself to stay a full-time producer. So it's something that you have to continue to gain the traction with. Once you've gained the traction, you have to continue with the momentum and keep it pulling and keep it pushing forward.
What were some of the outlets that you used as an up-and-coming producer, like, to get your beats out there and get heard?
Honestly, I used the local scene. I was networking with some studios at the time and got started with a few artists, and at the time was also emailing different beats to artists, offering free beats. I was really just getting my beats to anybody that would give my beats a chance, anybody that would write a song, because we spent so many hours in the studio making these beats, and we just would love to hear how it would sound with these artists on it. So that was the locals artists that were in the area that I started working with really helped me gain that confidence as a producer to, like, man, okay, now I got to develop these sounds for this type of artist, this type of artist. Okay, he's making this type of music, he's making this type of music. So as a producer, that's helping me grow and learn how to make all different types of stuff and cater to all different types of artists and sounds. Word of mouth is absolutely the biggest source of business and, connecting with artists for me. Word of mouth, absolutely, and reputation, just continuing to put in work.
So when did you decide to become full-time and go all in? Like, how did you know you were ready?
I think I decided, I was probably about 22 at the time, and I was really just really falling in love with the process of making beats, the creation of making beats. And at that time, it was more just focusing on making the actual beats, and then I started to evolve into the actual business side of creating the website, creating this brand for myself, evolving into the Lowkey Beats. I decided I was ready when my income from beats started to exceed the income that I was making working at my other jobs. And that's when I kind of just knew, like, okay, this is it. This is my time to go in, all in on it, and really just give it my all and give my full-time attention to making beats and to producing.
Was it scary?
Absolutely. Every day, you have to earn it. And, it can be scary at times, but you have to overcome your fears. You have to jump in that water and be ready to swim. And the thing about becoming full-time is make sure you're ready for it. Make sure you're ready to jump in that water and swim with the sharks, because truly entrepreneurship can really be looked at as like jumping in that water with the sharks. So be ready to swim. Being full-time, I'd say, you definitely want to be strong financially. I'd say before you get into a full-time position, just make sure that that future work is coming. Make sure that that income will be coming in the future. I would definitely say, as an entrepreneur, when you first jump into that, you would want to make sure that your bills are covered for a while you can get things transitioned over. It just comes down to showing up every day, because when you're working for yourself, when you're a producer, when you're an artist, you're working for yourself. There's no boss to tell you, hey, you have to get to work today. Hey, you have to send those emails out. Hey, you're on your own to make that income and pay those bills every month. So that's just the biggest thing, is make sure you're ready to work, because it's not just put your feet up on the desk. You know, once you're full time and once you're your own business, that's really when it's time to hustle the most. You know, and that's when it's time to give it your all.
So it sounds like a lot of self-discipline.
Absolutely, you have to learn that self-discipline. And even myself, moving into 2020, I'm starting to transition to using more of a time blocking technique when I'm creating, or when I'm brainstorming, or when I'm doing different work, and just really staying disciplined with my time and allotting a certain amount of time to do different things. Because like I said, staying organized and staying on track is crucial to being, an independent business owner.
Who are some of your biggest influences, like with beats, and then just maybe in life general?
For sure. Like with beats, I would say, it's depending on the genre, depending on the years and the ages, but mostly generally speaking, I am inspired by the internet generation of producers. Some guys like Lex Luger, some guys like Johnny Giuliano, Superstar O, just some guys that were early on in the beat selling internet world, where they were making SoundClick profiles and things like that in the early days. That was kind of what was inspiring me. And then those YouTube videos that were first starting to pop off, because I come from a generation where internet was really just starting to become the thing, and YouTube was just popping off. So I'm watching Lex Luger cook-ups, I'm watching Johnny Giuliano and things like that. So that was some of my inspiration. And of course, I'm inspired by some of the greats, Dr. Dre, Scott Storch, the big guys, Timbaland, and all those guys like that. It really just depends on genre, mood, what we're talking. In general, life people that I'm inspired by. I definitely look up to Tony Robbins. I think that he's somebody that you can learn a lot from. And Gary Vaynerchuk is definitely another person that I look up to, and I follow his content.
Who are some big name artists that have used your beats in the past?
Well, I'll tell you one that I get crap for a lot by some of the younger guys, and they roast me or whatever and say that he's an old head, is actually Lil Flip out of Houston, Texas. But to me, that'll always be one of my most grateful placements that I have. I think he's a legend. I love having worked with Lil Flip, and I'm blessed to be able to work with him. And some of the other people I've worked with, FBG Duck out of Chicago. He's definitely very big in the drill scene up there in Chicago. Be on the lookout for more music from Lowkey Beats and Will the Truth, of course.
Talking about Lil Flip, man, I'm from Houston, so like that's crazy to me, man. Like to think that you started this business on your own and then got to work with somebody like Lil Flip, and he might not mean a lot to like people around the world, but coming from Houston, man, that would be pretty much like the top notch. Like, wow, I've done it all now, coming from Houston, so that's fucking dope, man.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my most proudest moments. One of my proudest days right there was getting the chance to work with such a legend, and not only once but multiple times. So it's definitely a blessing to be able to work with Flip. And the young guys, I just don't think they know kind of what Flip has put into the game. Freestyle King, all the legendary stuff he's done. It's kind of, the hip hop's kind of moved into a different direction now.
Yeah.
So, but to us and to a guy like you from Texas, it's definitely a major thing. Those placements are on Art of Freestyle. It's on all the major outlets. The song is called Texas Pride, and then the other one is Lil Flip vs. Disaster, which is a feature with battle rapper Disaster, which is rare because a lot of producers do not have Disaster on a recorded track, because he's a battle rapper. He just does a lot of pay-per-view rap and world famous battle rap and stuff. So to have Disaster and Lil Flip on a track is that was a proud moment for me as a producer, for sure.
Where do you think you'll be in 5 years, and like where do you want to be in 5 years?
In 5 years from now, I will be evolving as a producer. I'd like to be more into some more TV and film stuff like that. I've had the chance to do some in the past, and I really enjoyed working in that lane and creating beats for TV and film. So I'd really like to evolve into getting more into that TV and film stuff. So, that's where I want to be, and where I think I'll be is definitely just staying at it and staying consistent. Always, that's it.
when you say TV and film, is this like, can you like go in depth on that? Because what do you actually mean? Is it like background music for television
Yes,
shows?
absolutely. TV and film, that's just that's a blanket word for things like background music for TV shows. Your favorite TV shows can be anything from Netflix specials to commercials on television to movies in the big screen. And those are things that I want to pursue more and get my beats into things like that. And the structure's a little bit different from making actual beats. And when you're doing TV and film, you're actually scoring, you're actually composing and creating these soundscapes to match the actual piece of video content that's there.
Do they send you something and then you kind of form the music around that?
It really works all different ways. Sometimes they will send you the video footage if it's a video that you're producing, composing for, or if it's a commercial, they might send you, what they're going to say, like if it's a radio ad or radio jingle. It really depends. The music supervisor may put out what they want, and they may detail and list those things. Or you build a catalog, you create music, because TV and film, really is just a matter of the sounds have to continue to roll into each other, and that's really just the difference. And so if you create your own catalog of these rolling sounds, directors can listen to those and say, this might fit for the scene that I'm using it for, or the piece that I need it for. So,
who do you see yourself working with in 2020 as far as collabing on making beats?
Collabing on making beats this year. I'm looking to work with more producers. I really am into working in establishing more up and coming producers, helping producers get into that full-time place with their music, because I've been so focused on artists as well. So for 2020, I really want to get into a place where I'm working with more producers. So if you're an upcoming producer and you've been making stuff, my email's open if you want to send loops and samples. I'll have Will the Truth provide an email for you guys in the description.
Who are some of your favorite producers to collab with? Maybe they don't have to be big, but just
absolutely
other producers.
Because of that goal for 2020 to work with more producers at the end of 2019, I really made it a goal to start on that, because my thing is that I start my goals ahead of time and that I want to work on something. I started it last year, so it's something we've already been working on. I put out 2 different beat tapes just before the year closed. The first one was with Strohs of GT Pro Squad Grind Time Beats. The name of that tape was All Gas No Brakes. That's available on all major music outlets. And then there was also another beat tape that we did called Triple Threat, and that was produced by Strohs of GT Pro Squad and my boy JR Made It out of Texas. And that was a triple threat tape where it was 3 producers, 1 beat tape. That's also available on all the major outlets. Wherever you listen to your music, you'll be able to find these beat tapes. Those 2 producers, shout out to Strohs, shout out to JR Made It. Those 2 producers are really the producers that I'm working with on a daily basis. And like I said, I'm looking to work with even more producers in 2020, because I think it's important to establish with other producers as well. So.
All right, so the last question, if you had to give an aspiring producer some quick advice, what would it be?
Quick advice would be to stay at it, man. Stay consistent. Make beats even on the days that you don't feel like making beats. That goes for rappers too, artists too. Write songs even on the days that you don't feel like writing songs, because that's when you're going to write your best stuff. That's when you're going to find that story and that motivation to write that song to get you out of that place that you're in. The quickest advice is just stay at it and stay consistent and do not give up, even when you feel like it. Keep going.
Well, that's all the questions we got, man. I appreciate you being a part of this interview, and yeah, let's kill it.
Thanks.
2020.
I really appreciate you having me, and shout out to Will the Truth, man. Be on the lookout for more Lowkey Beats. Will the Truth on the way. What's good, y'all? Lowkey Beats checking in with you. Owner and producer of LowkeyBeats.com. Producer coming out of Chicago. Appreciate you having me on this interview.